Welcome to the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music. We bring music to life. For information about private and group music lessons, call 510-397-0721 or visit us at cvsom.com. And now, here's your host of the Castro Valley Compass, Shane Sharkey.
Coming up on the Castro Valley Compass, our news roundup is going to be focused on one specific article that was in the Castro Valley Forum this week that deals with mental health over the holiday season. And we'll be looking at our community calendar with events like the Maker's Market, a big book sale at the library, and the Christmas tree lighting ceremony coming up next Friday. Our spotlight interview this week will feature John Hardisty of Forester.org, and we'll learn about how John's organization is bringing people together and making our community green. We'll have a retrospective this week where we'll feature Cliff Burton, Castro Valley native and heavy metal bassist from Metallica. We'll also feature our volunteer time segment where you can learn how you can help young people with their homework at the Castro Valley Library. All of this and more coming up next on the Castro Valley Compass. Stay with us. This winter, you can make a difference. Castro Valley School of Music is proud to present our Winter Coat Drive in partnership with One Warm Coat. It's simple. Donate your gently used coats and help someone stay warm this winter. The mission of One Warm Coat is to provide free coats to children and adults in need while promoting volunteerism and environmental sustainability. From now until December 16th, Castro Valley School of Music is collecting gently worn or new coats, as well as scarves, gloves, hats, sweaters, jackets, and sweatshirts. Our goal is to collect at least 20 coats to give the gift of warmth to those in need right here in our community. It's easy to get involved. Drop off your donations at the Castro Valley School of Music during business hours to help us reach our goal. Together, we can make this winter a little warmer for everyone. Join us in spreading warmth and kindness this season. Visit Castro Valley School of Music today and let's make a difference, one coat at a time. The Winter Coat Drive, now through December 16th at the Castro Valley School of Music. Donate today. We're located at 21060 Redwood Road, Suite 100. Help us help our community, one warm coat at a time.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
All right, welcome back to the Castro Valley Compass. I'm your host, Shane Sharkey, and normally on the News Roundup, we feature some local stories that have been happening recently here in Castro Valley. But this week, I think it's important to focus on one specific news article in the Castro Valley Forum because it has to do with our mental health over the holiday season. And with Thanksgiving coming up next week, if you're anything like me, you're already feeling a little bit of the stress of the holidays. And I think this article has some really good tips on how we can keep our sanity during this crazy time of the year. It can be a little bit hard to deal with all the stress, people driving around, the weather gets worse, and all the expectations that people put on us and that we put on ourselves over the holidays. And I think this has some interesting tips, and I'd actually love to get the author of this article in for an interview at some point. I'll be reaching out to her and see if she can't come into the studio and join us. It would be a great conversation. This is an article titled 6 Strategies to Promote Self-Care During the Holiday Season. And hopefully I pronounce her name properly, but it's Jagmeet Kaur Sangha was the author. And she is a local person here in Castro Valley. I'll get to her specifics there on the next page, but let's go ahead and start with the article. I'll probably interject here in a few, but I did want to read the article in its entirety because I think there's a lot of really good information in here. So here we go. With the holiday season fast approaching, the days seem packed with more to do than ever. Now is the time to create a strong foundation to support yourself as the festivities ramp up and, for many, start to feel overwhelming. For some, crowded gatherings, hectic schedules, and endless to-do lists can turn the season from joyful to challenging. And by using the principles of acceptance and commitment therapy, referred to as ACT, A-C-T, you can navigate the holiday rush with a focus on balance and well-being. ACT provides 6 core processes to help you lead a more values-driven life. Let's apply these at the holiday season. Now, before we get into these, I just wanted to reiterate that these are processes, and I think that's important. This is something that we do. It's not something that we simply say or believe. It's a process, or these 6 processes. And I'm certain that we're not all going to get them perfect the very first time. So this is something that we can practice and learn to get better at over time. Anyhow, number 1 is acceptance. Acceptance means allowing thoughts and emotions to come and go without struggling against them, making space for them instead of pushing them away. During the holidays, you may experience all sorts of emotions. Allow yourself time to feel them. Like the seasons, they come and go on their own. And your job is to remain flexible without letting your emotions get in the driver's seat. So simply just accepting that you might be feeling a certain way and not trying to fight it, even if it might feel like a negative emotion. All right, number 2, values. Identify what truly matters to you and use these values as a compass to guide your actions. Before the holidays begin, write down what's important to you. Do you value connection, health, gatherings, routines, and solitude? By understanding what's truly important, you can make decisions that reflect those values rather than being pulled in many directions. This can mean spending more time with loved ones or setting aside quiet time for yourself without feeling guilty. Now, I'd like to pause there for a second because the word that really stuck out to me is this word routines. For me, I fall back on my routines when things get stressful, and those routines really help me regather myself and remind myself that everything's cool. We're all going through stuff here, and I get back to my routines to sort of help me get back in the flow of a normal schedule. For me, routines include things like doing yoga. It's my favorite way to get my body and my mind stretched out and relaxed, and really there are some pretty intense yoga classes and practices that it's not just the lay there and stretch kind of yoga, but more of a vinyasa or a power hot yoga class that really gets your blood flowing and gets you sweating. So for me, that's one of the routines that I fall back on pretty regularly, and I know during the holidays that's going to be more important than ever. All right, back to the article. Number 3, uncouple from your thoughts. Learn how to separate yourself from unhelpful thoughts by observing your thoughts without getting caught up in them. For example, if you think, I need to make everyone happy, try saying, I'm having the thought that I need to make everyone happy. This helps you see that thought from a distance this helps you see the thought from a distance, making it less overwhelming and giving you more freedom to choose how to act. I think that's really an important one for me when I try to separate myself and realize as sort of an outside observer what's going on within me, whether it's my body or my mind, kind of separate and say, wow, look at these are the things that I'm thinking right now, as opposed to making them the reality. So I think that uncoupling from your thoughts is a really great tip. Number 4, present moment awareness. This involves staying connected to the here and now, bringing mindful attention to your current experiences rather than drifting to the past or the future. Avoid multitasking and instead be fully present in your current activity with all your senses. This can counter the holiday rush and help you appreciate small joys, even if the season feels chaotic. Well, that I think is really the essence of mindfulness. No matter what you're doing, can you make yourself more aware of what's happening in the present moment, kind of tying into the previous one, sort of removing your thoughts or separating your thoughts from you. Anyhow, this can get pretty esoteric, but I think the idea is that we really want to appreciate what we've got at any given moment and try not to let our thoughts of the future or the past overwhelm us and cause us to not appreciate the present moment. All right, number 5, commit to action and honor your values. Taking steps that align with your values help to create meaningful experiences. Self-compassion is key, especially during hectic times when there's often pressure to overdo. Having your values written down can help you decide what to commit to or where to draw boundaries if something doesn't align with you. For instance, if you value generosity, You may find ways to give to others meaningfully rather than feeling obligated or stressed about giving gifts. If your value is gratitude, you can build in time throughout your day or week to reflect on things you appreciate and express that to others. Honoring your values creates space for self-care, allowing the holiday season to feel more balanced and aligned with what matters most to you. Boy, that's kind of comes back to the number 2, the values. And then number 5 is committing to action to honor those values. So it's not just about thinking what's valuable to you, but actually putting yourself into action to move toward those values. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that a lot of us, when we're no longer kids, it's really not the gifts that matter so much anymore, but it really is that interaction with other people and the acknowledgement of how someone might be improving your life or making your life easier on any level. So I think that's a really an important one, to be generous with your words in a positive way. All right, number 6, self as context. Recognize that you are more than your thoughts, emotions, or life experiences. This fosters a perspective from which you can observe these inner events with greater objectivity. This mindset allows you to engage in the holiday season with a sense of inner stability and acceptance. Even when emotions are running high or stressful situations arise, remember, you are the observer of your holiday experience, not defined by any single moment or emotion. And as I turn the page, that has been a huge one for me, not just over the holidays, but to realize that, I am not this thing in the past that I might identify with, or I'm not this relationship or this, fill in the blank wherever. It's you are your own unique individual, and you do not have to be identified by anything other than what you want to become and move forward in that action, or with the actions to fulfill that. So anyhow, not sure if that makes any sense, but I'll continue on. What might feel challenging to one person could be exciting for another. Embracing this perspective during the holiday season can help us balance our own needs while honoring those of others. By applying the ACT principles, you can cultivate greater meaning, flexibility, and self-compassion, creating a holiday experience that feels more fulfilling. As you embrace these practices, those around you will likely feel inspired to do the same. It's interesting, the domino effect or the ripple effect that we have on others around us. Just walking into a room and being happy can oftentimes lighten someone's spirit, and they might ask you, why are you so happy? And, share if you like, but the idea is just being happy is its own contagion, and hopefully we can help make each other happy, especially during the holiday season. Now, Yagmeet is a board-certified behavior analyst who lives in Castro Valley. Her organization, Behavior Pivot Counseling, partners with organizations to cultivate neuro-inclusive environments that understand brain-based differences and promote mental well-being. If you'd like more information, you can visit her at www.behaviorpivot.com. So hopefully you got something out of that. If you want to check out the article, it's in this week's Castro Valley Forum. It's, let's see, what page is that thing on? It's toward the back. It is on page 11. Anyhow, some excellent information there. Hopefully you gathered something out of that. I know I did, and I'm going to try some of those as things get stressful this holiday season. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a look at the community calendar, and we'll find out which used books you might buy at a local sale coming up soon. Stay with us.
At Forester.org, we're dedicated to creating a brighter, cleaner, and more abundant future for our community. Our volunteers actively engage in litter cleanup, environmental restoration, the planting of future forests, and the rescue of surplus produce, ensuring it reaches those in need. Join us in taking action, volunteer your time, or donate today. For a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable tomorrow, visit Forester.org. That's FORSTR.org to learn more. Take action and make a difference today.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
All right, back with you here on the Castro Valley Compass. I'm your host, Shane Sharkey, and we are going to dig into the community calendar. All right, coming up tomorrow, Saturday, November 23rd, we've got a Holidays Makers Market. That's going to be happening at at the Waterhouse up on the corner of East Castro Valley Boulevard and Grove Street. Center Street, not Grove, Center and East Castro Valley Boulevard in the shopping center where the School of Music used to be, right there at the Crossroads Food Market, I think it's called now. Anyhow, that's at 5 p.m., 5 to 9 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd, 3300 East Castro Valley Boulevard. Love Story presents Holiday Makers Market, featuring hula performances by Tahani Studio, handmade gifts from local artists, and holiday treats and a hot cocoa bar. It's free to attend, so check it out. Again, that's at 3300 East Castro Valley Boulevard from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday the 23rd. Also, coming up next Friday, we've got the Christmas tree lighting ceremony at the Village. Castro Valley School of Music is working hard and getting our kids' choir ready, so we're going to be performing there right at 5 o'clock. The event starts at 5 and goes to 8. Always a fun event. We've got Santa Claus arrives on the big fire truck at the end of all the festivities there to get the tree lit. And you bring your family and to enjoy some live music, entertainment, and a free photo with Santa Claus. Again, that's at the Castro Valley Village, Friday, December 6th at 5 p.m. Definitely don't want to miss that. That's one of our fun big events here in Castro Valley. And let's see, on December 6th, it's the same day as the Christmas tree lighting ceremony is when it starts. It looks like it goes through the whole weekend there, December 6th, Friday the 6th through Sunday, December 8th. Friends of the Castro Valley Library Indoor Book Sale. There's going to be a book sale at the Castro Valley Library at 3600 Norbridge Avenue here in Castro Valley. Let's see, Friday it starts at 6 p.m., 6 to 8. And let's see, the details, there's a member preview. Oh, looks like Friday is for members only. Memberships will be available at the door, so you can become a member that day, I suppose. Or you can join anytime by visiting the bookstore or the Castro Valley Library website. On Saturday, this December 7th, the sale will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and this is where everyone's welcome. You can check the December 4th forum for the $2 coupon, good on Saturday only. And on Sunday at 10 as well, there is Fill a Bag Day. Fill a standard grocery bag for $5. Wow, that's a pretty cool deal. We'll have categories of books available: fiction, mystery, children's books, most genres of nonfiction, DVDs, music CDs, audiobooks, jigsaw puzzles, games, and lots of miscellaneous items, all at bargain prices. They'll also have a selection of antiquarian special price and gift quality books. This is a great way to do your Christmas shopping. Cash, checks, and credit cards will be accepted. Proceeds pay for library programs and amenities that would not otherwise be possible. So there are a few events that are coming up here. Hopefully you will attend one and or all of those. Sounds like a great place to get some books, especially if you've got some readers on your holiday list. All right, coming up next, we're going to have our spotlight interview with John Hardisty of Forester.org. We had a great conversation about all the things that Jan and his organization are doing to help keep our environment clean, and actually how he brings community members together that otherwise might not know each other. So stick around. You want to check out that interview coming up next on the Castro Valley Compass. We'll be right back.
Looking to unlock your child's creativity? Or maybe you're an adult wanting to rekindle a love for music? At Castro Valley School of Music, we've got you covered. Studies show that learning an instrument boosts brain power, improves memory, and strengthens problem-solving skills. But the real magic happens when you play together. At Castro Valley School of Music, we offer lessons for all ages and skill levels, whether it's guitar, piano, violin, or something a little different. Our talented instructors will help you grow and have fun while doing it. And our group classes and ensembles? They teach teamwork, build friendships, and give students the joy of playing alongside others. It's where music becomes more than just notes. It becomes connection. Are you ready to start your musical journey? Call Castro Valley School of Music today at 510-397-0721 or visit us at cvsom.com. That number again is 510 397-0721. Or you can visit us at cvsom.com. Let's make music together.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass, brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
Hey, welcome back to the Castro Valley Compass. I'm your host, Shane Sharkey, and we're about to feature sections of an interview that I had with John Hardisty. He came in the studio recently, and we talked about his organization, Forester.org. He's got some pretty cool stuff going on, including planting trees, cleaning up litter, and spreading some excess fruit around to the people in need in our community. So you want to check out this interview coming up now. Let me officially welcome you, Jan, to the Castro Valley Compass podcast. It's so good to have you in here. And really, you and I have known each other for a while, but there's a lot that I don't know about what you're doing. We met at the library, I think, a week or two ago, and just some of that stuff that you were talking about, I'd love to sort of recap. What do you do, Jan?
What do I do? I like to say, I still like to say, even though about 30 plus years ago, started a game software company, and specifically in the development area of gaming, where in gaming, there's two real segments of the industry. There's publishing and there's development. And we were the developers. About 1999, 2000, we decided, I took a break from doing that. In 1998, I worked for a company called Berkeley Systems. The company, they were another game developer, but they built the You Don't Know Jack games. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, and Austin Powers games. And spent a year there, completely burnt out of the publishing side of the business, and went back to my business, my company. But we switched it up a little bit, because at that time, and up to that time, the development industry in gaming was very cyclical. And when I say cyclical, it's not year to year cyclical, it's months. You would put out something that was popular, or that was a game that was a revenue maker. It would last a few weeks if you were lucky, months if you were lucky. And then you dive. And so it was this business cycle of boom and bust that was super rapid and worked really well for a 20-year-old, but not for a 30-year-old or somebody having babies as we had begun to do. And I did a stint working with an insurer here in San Francisco as a programmer. And
programming?
Just programming their interactive solutions and kind of gamifying their processes, their kind of more lackluster industry. It's hard to get across the healthcare. It was a healthcare insurer. And so we were trying to get people to care about preventative health and to really get into that. While I was contracting with the insurer, and I thought, gosh, gaming has all of these elements. It has this take a message, make it interesting and viable, and then grasp a person and kind of hold on to them and give them challenges and things to do. And I was thinking that's very similar to what this corporation was attempting to do on a massive scale in health insurance. And so I came back to my company, and we married gaming with healthcare. And it was kind of a difficult marriage at first, because a lot of the developers that were in our company at the time, were out there to do something different and do something innovative, and insurance was not on their mind. And for us, that also works on a idealistic standpoint, because this preventative healthcare is where you need less insurance. In essence, you need less critical incident support. You need less chronic illness support in money and finance. And so if we felt and continue to feel that if we build and use gamification to attract people to their own health, then we are not only making people healthier, but we're also doing really good business for our clients. Because it goes hand in hand. So what started as kind of this Robin Hood approach of, we're going to go into the healthcare industry and repurpose their funding. for gaming has really, we thought we were going to transform them, and they kind of transformed us.
So when you say companies that would be able to utilize this, are you talking primarily about insurance companies or other companies that have large employee populations, or all of the above?
All of the above. In fact, we began working with large insurers and in the healthcare industry, and they over time introduced us, and we've split off and done business with their clientele, which are generally large and enterprise companies.
Not insurance related.
Insurance-related work or technologies. So, well, let me take that back. Health-related work or technologies.
Okay.
So the insurer has in the past introduced us to these companies and the client companies. And those introductions then become, oh, can you run a raffle with us? Can you set up a challenges technology? Can we talk about AI? Can we consult about something to jazz up our websites? But it's all still very focused around health.
Okay.
And so, lots of the companies we work with, they have very great IT and technical and marketing departments and services themselves. Where we fit in is we say, well, okay, yeah, but what about your employees? Do they care about their smoking habits? Do they care about getting out there and walking or standing up or every 15 minutes or whatever it might be? How can we jazz that? How can we work with your employee base and interest them in health? And how can we use technology to do that? And that's where we fit in. That's our niche. That transfers over to nonprofits, that transfers over to government groups. We've worked with a lot of government groups. It's expanded beyond the insurers. I mean, it is wonderful to tell you how many steps you took and give you a badge and say, congratulations and I love you. That is wonderful and it is helpful.
Right.
But
Yep.
And that's where, we can kind of cross this into artificial intelligence as well, is that it's like the connecting of the use of it as a tool for our empowerment is where health can use it. Healthcare can use it.
Right.
Not as I'm going to have less clinicians or I'm going to take less phone calls because, Rivara AI is taking care of that.
Right.
That's not service. And the healthcare industry knows that. They've been really circumspect and they've been really careful about how to implement it. And I actually give them great kudos for that. That they're being very conservative about these technologies. But that conservatism also lets things slide through the cracks, for engagement utilization. And that's where health tech comes in.
There's a term I learned, or I don't know if it's a theory or what it's called exactly. I think it's a person's name, but I found it very fascinating. The concept was when a metric becomes a goal, it no longer serves as a useful metric. And the easy sort of analogy for this one or example I could say is the graduation rates from high school. Our goal is we want every kid to graduate high school because that means that you're well equipped to go into the world and become successful.
Right.
So our goal is, or the metric that we use to measure that is how many kids have graduated from high school. And then when the numbers start going down and we see, wow, not as many kids as we'd like to are graduating, let's lower the standards of graduation so that we gain more graduates, but then that metric no longer serves because the requirements have been reduced so much that now they're not really ready to go out and be successful in the real world. They're graduating to the numbers we'd like, but does that apply to
100%.
what you're talking about in health?
100%, absolutely. And it's funny you use the schools too, because our kids went to school together here, and I also saw that at the top end. So you're talking about how industries can basically lower the bar to meet a metric. We also saw that. My kids went to Marshall School up here in Castro Valley, a high performing school, wonderful school, and the No Kid Left Behind program was pushing them to do a percentile, a metric, 10% better every year over year over year. And here was a school that sat at 94, 97 percentile of testing rates, I think it was. And the teachers were just like, well, now what do we do?
Right.
And I couldn't believe it. I kid you not. We were sitting in a PTA meeting And the district and the state came, I don't think it was a district, I think the state came down and said, you are now needing to target 107%. You need 107% of scores on all your tests. And us teachers and parents were just like, we took math. I mean, I was never good at math, interestingly enough. I love to program, but I was never good at math. But I know that's not possible. And so there's this bottom and top end focus on the metric or focus on the reporting of statistics, where you really start losing sight of the value and of the engagement or what we call in gaming engagement. And that's where we really like to put our all of our capabilities is into that middle spot. So now our structure, to loop way back to where we were talking about, our structure is that we're three different companies. We're Monkey Bite Development, which basically invests in Binks and also Binks as a company, and Health Tech Incorporated as a company. And then a short time ago, my wife and I locally started a nonprofit here in town, and that's our third kind of business.
I'd love to talk about that a little bit. That's Forester?
That's Forester.org. Forest, with the way it's spelled, there's no E after the T, and we joke that it's the Napster for trees, or the. So it's Napster
for trees.
It's initially began around wanting to plant trees. That was the whole concept, looking at our space around us and noticing that historically it's very different. You and I live in an area of rolling hills and grass and oak trees. But this traditionally was a space filled densely with coastal redwoods, large sequoia redwoods, and I mean dense forest. And the history around how what we see today and call natural today came to be is human and kind of a little sad. And so I wanted to go plant trees. I got done. I continue with software. I love software, but it's a very virtual thing. It's you put something out and you've got 3 to 6 months now for it to have value, maybe a few years. But I plant a tree in the ground and my grandchildren will see it if we can keep humans away from it. And that's a wonderful way for me to find work-life balance, where I can work to something that has a virtual impact, that has engagement, but then I can also work on doing something that has generational impact and generational engagement. And that's been incredibly sustaining for me.
So do you actually go out there and plant the trees yourself?
100%.
And what kind of trees do you plant?
Well, we do a lot of natives in the area, but we've expanded from beyond just the planting of trees. We now we have 3 different programs. Getting access to the land to be able to plant trees. I went to friends, or basically called up Caltrans, and I said, "Look, you've got land. My wife won't let me plant trees on our house on our land." And so I need land. I need somewhere to plant trees. And I went to Caltrans and they said, well, we'll let you work with the trees that are on the area here. But the vehicle we have to do that is that you need to clean up litter. There's some beautiful lands around our little tiny town. And then I started cleaning litter. And then that got completely underneath my skin. So today what we do is we have 3 programs. If you notice, I like 3s. We've got a cleaning program, a greening program, and a gleaning program. Gleaning is harvesting of fruits and vegetables.
Oh, okay.
And so I run the cleaning. My wife now runs the greening program. And we have some wonderful directors, Pat Schultz and Georgina, who run our gleaning harvesting program. And it's this wonderful circle of my teams and volunteers will come out and clean litter encrusted areas so that greening can happen. We will, if possible, green those areas, planting trees, fruits, and vegetables. And then Georgina and her team will come in, and Pat Schultz and her team will come in and harvest those spaces.
And where does that food go?
That food goes right back to food pantries. It goes to churches. It goes to a recent discussion we just had was actually going to local schools And a lot of the people who, not a lot, but a portion of the people who volunteer for us and work with us on the land are D-House people locally as well. So we bring food directly to them.
That's great. How does someone get involved if they want to become a volunteer and help you with one of those 3 aspects of your organization?
So we do litter cleaning every week, every Saturday. So tomorrow morning I'll be out there, and today's Friday. Tomorrow morning I'll be out there from 9 to 11. Pick a spot. I broadcast it through about 400 emails that go out and our website, and I say, show up at this time, work for 2 hours. So we try to keep it very tight so that people can enjoy their weekends.
Right.
It also helps us with budgeting, but it's, the other thing is that if enough people show up in a 2-hour period of time, you can really clean a space. It's incredible. We do parking lots, on-ramps and off-ramps to the freeway and then along the freeway. But the before and after, even sometimes depending on how many people show up in an hour, it's day and night. It's day and night. And it not only impacts the people who are there, I ask people when they show up, I say, look at it right now before we go out. And then when you come back, we're gonna look at it again. I want you to take your time. I want you to take a photo. I want you to think about what you're picking up. And it's transformational for all of us when we're out there, because we can make an incredible impact. But it's also transformational for the community, because these are spaces that people are coming to our community and leaving our community.
Right.
And recently we've been having just phenomenal numbers of volunteers come out. We'll do anywhere from 15 to 25 every Saturday morning. And it's kind of blowing my mind. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's got to be gratifying to think about how that, it's the whole, I like to talk about recognizing the ripple, like how much we can affect the people around us, not just in our own homes, but in our communities, and really, can ripple beyond what we even have any concept. That feeling of gratitude here as we enter into November, we're trying to really focus on that around the school, is how grateful we've got such good stuff happening here. There's a lot of craziness in the world, but if we focus on the good things that we have in our life, it just makes things so much better. That sense of gratitude, you get it every time you come out to the 9 o'clock Saturday morning. You just get that reinvigorating feeling of, I'm making a difference.
I tell my wife it's the reparative justice for my soul, because healthcare can get a little heavy sometimes. Yes, absolutely, and we get it regularly with honking and with people that are doing thumbs up. The honking is always a little bit tenuous because I also we do a safety course before every single. For newbies every single time, and one of the things we say is any honking or screeching your tires, run, right? Go in these directions, run, and it gets a little tenuous because the honking is sometimes very supportive.
Gotcha. I can see how that gets confusing.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's been, we're generally working with really, really dedicated, wonderful volunteers. But the other 2 things that we can control a little bit more is litter attracts litter, and so absolutely, if there's litter on the ground, more litter collects around it, or even illegal dumping happens around it. And we can have a whole show on illegal dumping. That's something that's exciting and interesting. The other is green. When there's green in the ground, there's less litter on the floor. And that has been proven. That we've worked with Nate Miley's office and some of the groups in Oakland who have greened streets that have been litter filled with just simple bushes, and people litter less when they see the green. And so there's this weird thing where we de-greened our areas, right? And then we didn't clean the litter, and then we wonder why there's litter in our areas. And it's like, well, we've devalued, by de-greening, we've devalued our areas, and the litter attracts litter.
It's it reminds me of the broken windows notion of, if you allow broken windows, then likely the next thing is going to be graffiti, and there's, accompanied by other signs that people don't care, litter, and just not taking care of their properties. And it's like this sort of snowballing effect of, I think that's fascinating, that just the fact that there's something green there would make people, even if it's subconsciously, say, litter does not belong there. All right, we'll take this to the garbage.
And there's a not in my backyard philosophy as well, and so it's
for trees.
And I say this, and tongue in cheek somewhat, but it's a little maddening. We plant a lot of trees. Let me just say that. We don't officially plant a lot of trees, I will also say, because people don't want to know. But if an oak seedling gets put in the ground, or gets in one of the areas we are caretaking for, we'll actually be at tomorrow, there's just a lot of oak seedlings that are just coming up. And so instead of planting them necessarily, we're caretaking for them. So we'll be bringing out mulch, and we'll be creating water swales, and we'll be cutting back, doing fire abatement basically to protect the trees, because we just planted, because humans in essence are not only are we the barrier to planting new trees, but we're also the ones that just will always find a reason to take down a tree. And so I get it. There's a lot of, there's plumbing issues. It fell on my house, or it might fall on my car. I get it. It totally makes sense. But the scale is completely towards that, as opposed to leveling the scale towards, okay, well, if we're going to do this development and cut down 15 trees on say, Norbridge Road, where are we planting 15 trees? Or maybe we can plant 30 trees to replace that. Right. There's lots of discussion around the need to cut down, and little around the replacement value. And that's where we kind of come in and advocate with Forester, is we're going to be the ones that are a little loud, a little obnoxious around what are we doing to plant these trees or to caretake for them. Over here at our local library, we planted a giant sequoia recently. And one of the feedback was, well, how long is this going to live? It's going to, 10 years, 20 years? I'm like, no, 3,400 years. And the main thing that will destroy it, and has threatened it a couple of times already, are human beings. Yeah. This is a sapling, and it can grow into this intense, ant-like, brilliant being, living communal being for 3,600 years.
That's incredible.
And the thing that makes it that's the most danger to it is us humans backing over it. It's on the side of a parking lot. Right. So backing our cars into it. Huh. And so yeah, this actual giant sequoia that we got, she's growing, she's doing well, she's been named, dedicated to a local student we lost here named Lana Luna. And we did little cuttings from her so that we could clone her should anything go wrong. She actually she was part of NASA's Artemis moon flight. Huh. So as a seedling, she was flown around the moon by NASA. Really? And then brought back down about 2 years ago, and grown by the Forestry Service here, not here, Forestry Service in the United States, and then disseminated to all over the United States to see how they grow, and if moon travel and if space travel changes their structure. And we were lucky enough to get one of the only ones here in California, here at the Castro Valley Library. And so we're caretaking for her. But another thing that kind of, you talk about the fairy circles or the cathedral circles, trees are very social beings. Right. And I didn't quite get that until we got Luna. She came in a box, and I did an unboxing video and had a great time with her, put her in a pot outside until we could plant her. And she was growing very slowly, and just I was really nervous. We got a lot of people watching this, watching her, and I was really nervous about seeing her grow. My wife had 2 firs that were given to us, and they were in pots as well. And I just put them next to her, just so I could water actually easily. Right. And within about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they had all grown inches. Wow. And they weren't even touching roots. Right. They were in their own separate pots, but they were just near each other. I can't explain, if it were one of them that grew, I could say, oh, this is just, it just caught a growth spurt and it did this thing. Right. All 3 of them grew. And it was just a moment I looked at it and I'm like, these are social beings. These are connected beings. And then they do the connection through the root structures, and all kinds of good happens. Redwoods are my passion. And so, every chance I get, I'll walk up and I'll touch its fur.
Yeah.
And literally, as you walk up to a redwood, it doesn't have necessarily bark that's a crust on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally got this kind of fur texture to it.
Right.
And it's a wonderful thing to touch, and it's a wonderful thing to see grow. And then looking back at the history of how San Francisco was built multiple times off of our coastal redwoods here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's absolutely painful to kind of see, but there's good things happening. There's a lot of good things happening. And community, as I said, community is really coming back and understanding it. And then we look at, you've got children the same age as mine. They don't take any guff when it comes to dealing with these issues.
Mm-hmm.
When it's, somebody calls them a tree hugger.
Right.
We had the choice to decide whether we were going to make that an insult or not.
Right.
They don't take it as an insult at all, and I love
Right.
that.
No,
I love
that's
that the empathy levels and the connectivity that the youth have around this subject right now is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
It's inspiring, to say
Mm-hmm.
the least.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Jan. I mean, I've
No.
learned so much about what you're doing, and I'm fascinated by the whole gamification of the healthcare industry.
Well, thanks for letting me try and connect it together, because that's kind of my life purpose is what the heck am I doing out here?
That's great. Well, I mean, Castro Valley is full of people that are passionate about what they do.
Yeah, it is.
Innovative
It is.
and creative, and I think you're a great example of that. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story with us, and I have a feeling that we'll be learning more as the future rolls along. I'm interested in coming out tomorrow. I've got to see if I can clear my schedule. Is there something I have to do can I show up, or do I need to sign up
So
first?
that's one of the Forester innovations, is that there is no requirements, there's no form, there's no, we just want you to be there. So when you do come out, we do a really quick little scan and scan of your information and safety course, just to make sure that we're all safe. But we do it when you come out, we do it one time, and then you never have to do it again. And the whole concept is to remove barriers to doing this kind of green work. And just make it as easy as possible to, like you said, just show up.
Cool. And if someone's interested in joining you, they would just go to forestr.org and check out your schedule or your location.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from there, we post about special events, park cleanups. We have 6 different parks, what we call pocket parks, all throughout Castro Valley and part of Cherryland and part of Hayward. And there are opportunities to go to those parks and bring all ages of families. So the Adopt a Highway is 16 and older. But the parks are wonderful because all ages, from babies to grandbabies, are all over the place can participate in planting and weeding and caring for the park spaces themselves. And you just show up. We just want everybody to come out and be green.
That sounds awesome. Well, I will definitely be seeing you out there, if not tomorrow, sometime very soon. I appreciate what you're doing here to make our community better and more beautiful. So
it's working. It's good.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Jan. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
We'll have you back again on the podcast sometime soon.
As you can see, I'm very long-winded. So anytime.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, well, those are just a couple snippets of our interview with John Hardisty. We'll be posting the entire interview here as a separate post on our YouTube page, so you want to check that whole interview out in its entirety. And definitely go to his website, forester.org, forestr.org, if you'd like to get involved. And on their Facebook page, they announce every Friday where they'll be cleaning up litter by the freeway or anywhere here in town. They have a specific spot every Saturday, and they announce that on Fridays. So you want to check out the Facebook page for Forester as well. Okay, coming up next, we're going to take a look back at a retrospective, an audio retrospective of one of my favorite musicians of all time. He's a Castro Valley native and the original bass player for Metallica, Cliff Burton. So stick around. We'll be back with more Castro Valley Compass right after this.
At Forester.org, we're dedicated to creating a brighter, cleaner, and more abundant future for our community. Our volunteers actively engage in litter cleanup, environmental restoration, the planting of future forests, and the rescue of surplus produce, ensuring it reaches those in need. Join us in taking action, volunteer your time, or donate today. for a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable tomorrow. Visit forester.org. That's FORSTR.org to learn more. Take action and make a difference today.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
Hey rock fans, you're tuned into the Castro Valley Compass. And today, we're diving into the legacy of one of heavy metal's greatest, a legend whose roots are right here in Castro Valley, California, Cliff Burton, Metallica's original bassist and a true pioneer of thrash metal. So let's crank it up and get into it. Clifford Lee Burton, better known to the world as Cliff, was born on February 10th, 1962. He grew up right here in Castro Valley, a place he always held close to his heart. Cliff wasn't just a bass player, he was a true force of nature. With his love for music starting at a young age, Cliff was influenced by a wide range of artists, from classical composers like Bach to heavy rockers like Lemmy from Motorhead. Can you believe that? A thrash metal icon with a background in classical music. That's what made Cliff so unique. He'd brought a sense of melody, complexity, and a unique approach to his bass playing that took Metallica to the next level. But before he was shredding with the metal giants, he was right here in Castro Valley, attending Marshall Elementary and Castro Valley High School. Cliff was known for practicing for hours on end, pushing himself to be the very best he could be. In 1982, Burton caught the attention of Metallica, and they asked him to come down to LA and join them. He said, "No thanks, I'm staying in Castro Valley." And that caused Metallica to become a Bay Area band. They wanted so badly to have Cliff as their bass player, they moved from LA to the Bay Area. And by 1983, he was a full-fledged member, joining the band to record their debut album, Kill 'Em All. His influence was immediate, and tracks like his iconic bass solo, Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, showed the world just what he was capable of. Cliff wasn't just a talented musician, he was a visionary. He believed in the power of music to bring people together and wasn't afraid to push the boundaries of what a bassist could do. His sound wasn't just about keeping rhythm. He turned the bass into a lead instrument, adding depth and soul to Metallica's music. Tragically, Cliff's time with us was cut short. In 1986, during Metallica's European tour, the tour bus skidded off the road in Sweden, and Cliff was killed in the crash. He was only 24 years old, but his impact was enormous. To this day, Metallica fans worldwide remember him as not just a bass player, but a key figure in shaping the band's legacy and sound. Though he left us too soon, Cliff Burton's music lives on. And February 10th has officially become Cliff Burton Day in Castro Valley, California. Every time you hear those epic Metallica riffs, remember that they're fueled by the genius of a guy from right here in Castro Valley. So let's take a moment to honor him. Cliff Burton, a local legend and a thrash metal icon. Rest in peace, Cliff.
Looking to unlock your child's creativity? Or maybe you're an adult wanting to rekindle a love for music. At Castro Valley School of Music, we've got you covered. Studies show that learning an instrument boosts brain power, improves memory, and strengthens problem-solving skills. But the real magic happens when you play together. At Castro Valley School of Music, we offer lessons for all ages and skill levels, whether it's guitar, piano, violin, or something a little different. Our talented instructors will help you grow and have fun while doing it. And our group classes and ensembles, They teach teamwork, build friendships, and give students the joy of playing alongside others. It's where music becomes more than just notes. It becomes connection. Are you ready to start your musical journey? Call Castro Valley School of Music today at 510-397-0721 or visit us at cvsom.com. That number again is 510-397-0721, or you can visit us at cvsom.com. Let's make music together.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
Okay, welcome back to the Castro Valley Compass. It's time now for Volunteer Time, our new segment that was inspired by John Hardisty and his organization, Forest Hoard. So if you'd like to get involved with them, you can check out their website. We mentioned that in the last segment, or you can go to their Facebook page, foresthoard.org, and they will announce where they're going to be cleaning up garbage every Saturday, weather permitting, from 9 to 11 a.m. But our focus on volunteer time this week is the Castro Valley Library. They are looking for high school students who would like to help others with their homework. I can do it. The Castro Valley Library is looking for dedicated and enthusiastic high school student volunteers, just a few hours a week, for its after-school homework assistance center. This is at the library at 3600 Norbridge Avenue here in Castro Valley. They specifically need help on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 3:30 to 5 p.m. They'd like help with a variety of assignments from elementary to high school level: English, math, science, and languages. And why would you want to do this? Well, to help students tackle their homework, gain valuable experience as a volunteer, and to have fun. And I must say that the sensation of being able to help someone on any level is the reward unto itself. But you can actually see yourself helping to grow a community, and you never know what your volunteer hours are going to lead to. I was a volunteer a long time ago at my children's elementary school, Stanton Elementary, where I volunteered as a music teacher, and it was that experience as a volunteer that gave me the insight that I wanted to start a music school. So you never know what happens when you volunteer to help some people out, and you may gain more than they do. So I would definitely encourage you, if you are academically inclined and would like to help out, to check out the homework help that they're looking for at the Castro Valley Library. You can go and ask them at the library, or you can check them out on their website, but definitely would encourage you to get involved. All right, we'll come back next and we'll tell you what's coming up next week on the Castro Valley Compass. Stay with us. This winter, you can make a difference. Castro Valley School of Music is proud to present our Winter Coat Drive in partnership with One Warm Coat. It's simple. Donate your gently used coats and help someone stay warm this winter. The mission of One Warm Coat is to provide free coats to children and adults in need while promoting volunteerism and environmental sustainability. From now until December 16th, Castro Valley School of Music is collecting gently worn or new coats, as well as scarves, gloves, hats, sweaters, jackets, and sweatshirts. Our goal is to collect at least 20 coats to give the gift of warmth to those in need right here in our community. It's easy to get involved. Drop off your donations at the Castro Valley School of Music during business hours to help us reach our goal. Together, we can make this winter a little warmer for everyone. Join us in spreading warmth and kindness this season. Visit Castro Valley School of Music today and let's make a difference, one coat at a time. The Winter Coat Drive, now through December 16th at the Castro Valley School of Music. Donate today. We're located at 21060 Redwood Road, Suite 100. Help us help our community, one warm coat at a time.
Now back to more of the Castro Valley Compass. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.
All All right, welcome back to the Castro Valley Compass. I'm your host, Shane Sharkey, and that has been it for today. What a week. It is starting to rain, and Thanksgiving is next week. Boy, the seasons are changing. Well, we did an interview not too long ago with a gentleman from here in Castro Valley named Sung Lee, the bee charmer. And Sung Lee will be on our Compass podcast next week, both the interview, and he actually invited me to his backyard where I got to hang out with all the bees. And being allergic to bees, it was scary at first, but I got calmed down after a while, and seeing him stand there with the bees all around him with no protective gear made me realize that the bees are really not interested in harming anyone. They have a specific job to do, and we'll find out more about that when we talk with Sung Lee next week, and we go into his backyard to experience what it's like with all the bees around you. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time here on the Castro Valley Compass. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Do you have an idea for the show, or would you like to get involved? We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at info@castrovalleycompass.com. That's info@castrovalleycompass.com. See you next time on the Castro Valley Compass, brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.